We're Mark and Linda Hoffman, and we've been married for 37 wonderful years.
No, there was 1 year. There was.
36 wonderful years.
I started going to concerts. Mark and Dave had Christian concerts. I'd never met them. I just wanted to bring my friends to these Christian concerts. And in between the concert, they do like an intermission and do like a mini sermon. I remember when Mark would talk, I'd think, who is he? Like, he's smart and he's funny. And I was just drawn to him. But it wasn't till probably almost a year and a half later that we started dating.
My parents had remained married and very little divorce in our family, so I definitely went into marriage thinking that this was for life and we would just work out whatever we had to work out.
And my parents too remained married, so I knew that it was for a lifetime. And I just thought, I mean, I was 20 and I thought, he'll like me and we'll never argue. The other big thing that changed was learning that we were partners with one goal, not two people competing for our future destinies. That was not going to work.
I think one of the things I really had to learn didn't happen until the kids came along, because when pregnancy comes and the kids come, it's an automatic change for the wife, whether she wants it or not. But the husband still has a lot of latitude in how much this is going to affect his life. And I didn't make enough changes in those first couple of years, really. I continued to live too much the way I had, which left her with the kids alone too much of the time.
So many times in your life, you have to ask, why do I feel the way I feel? And let God bring perspective. So once I realized God did this to us, the kids came faster than we planned, that this was part of God's doing. In fact, God spoke to me one time and said, why have you called a curse what I've called a blessing? And it just made me think, oh yeah. So I thought if this was what God was doing, it really didn't matter what the culture said. I should do it well, and I wanted to have fun doing it.
And one thing that really helped with my kids, whenever they really acted up, I'd remember, I'm only half of this equation. They've also got Linda's DNA, and that helped me have a lot more compassion on them. We're similar in really important ways, and we're different in functionality. So I think, like, I lean a lot on her strengths, and I think she leans on my strengths. So, you know, we all do so much better when we look to our spouse's strengths,
Yeah.
instead of focusing on what might not be a strength and being critical. But when you praise your spouse's strength, you enhance them. And if you're a unit, then you benefit when your partner excels in their strengths, and vice versa. And you know, we're not supposed to be competing. We're supposed to be enhancing each other. And I think it's important to really appreciate the difference in your spouse, and as they are, you know, whether it's male or female, they're different than you, but also just their giftings and talents. And so not to look at what my spouse can do for me, but to realize the key is to think, what can I do for my spouse? We're one flesh. Anything you do that's good for your spouse is going to bring benefit into your life. And attacking your spouse is only going to bring misery into your life. And I think that mystery of the one flesh becoming one is something people don't understand, but it's profound.
And adding on to that, with Mark being the pastor of a church, you know, people are critics, and they don't tend to go to the person that they're critical of. So people would tell me, Mark needs to do this, Mark needs to change that. And so I would go to Mark, you need to do this, you need to change that. And it was coming between us. And I read that scripture, a woman tears her house down with her own hands. And one day I thought, that's not my job to tell him to criticize. Like, they can go to him if they have a problem, and learning, like he said, to concentrate on the strength, because they were many and beautiful and profound.